Good evening, YouTube. We are live from lockdown. I had last night off. It was a little bit entertaining. We won't go into that, but it could be different tonight. Oh, Thursday night drug drop off has just landed on the next street. Firework and the horns are going loud and live. What I will say is I might only have one guest tonight because one of the other guests is having technical difficulties, so we might not be able to get on. So if there is just me and the one guest, we're just going to go for the one. Oh, as I've said that, the second guest has just turned up, so I'm not going to babble on for too long. I will introduce my first guest. He's been around the YouTube and the gaming collecting scene a long while. His name is Pete, and that's Mr. Snestastic. Introduce yourself, Pete.
Hello, how you doing? Yeah, my name's Pete. Got a channel called Snestastic. Most people probably know who I am if you're watching this stream. Yeah, it's good to be here, Dana. How you doing?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. I'm going to jump straight in and test because our second guest has not been around for doing any of the backstage testing. Your guest will need to connect a microphone or headset before you can be added to the stream. So, Dave, if you can hear us, you need to plug in your headset or a mic or something before you can join us. So, we'll just go with us two now. If Dave gets his headset and whatever connected, we will bring him in, and that will be Mr. Lawnboy's post if he joins us. So, I don't know if you watched it. I know you've watched the stream with Cojones and that. Yeah. What we basically do is we just sit here, we chat and talk about how lockdown is, how gaming's been for you, and obviously your YouTube journey. So we'll start with how has lockdown changed things for you then, P? How has your day-to-day life, has it changed at all much? Or
honestly, no. It's just like I'm isolated anyway generally, so it's where I live is really, really quiet and you don't really see people, so it hasn't made much of a difference to my life. It's very easy to socially distance as well, which is good. So if I was still in the city, it'd be a bloody nightmare. But yeah, it's not been too bad. I've just been chilling, playing games, watching films, listening to music, just basically what I usually do. So I'm just sort of waiting for it to end.
So, like, how about when you go to the supermarkets? I bet you're having all the hassle we're having where you have to queue in, queue out.
I've not been for about 3 weeks. I've got to go tomorrow, actually. I'm just running low. Not looking forward to it. It's the first, because when I went before, they didn't have any of the like the hand sanitizer and all the gloves and all the other business and wiping your trolleys down. So this time I've got to work out what's what, because apparently in Tesco you got to wash your hands. You can wipe the trolley. They've got a certain way of going around the shop now. So I'm not looking forward to it because, to be honest, I've got anxiety. And even when I go to a local shop, I'll start freaking out a little bit if anyone's near me. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. It should be all right, I think.
Yeah, well, I've read today there was because they've opened 61 of the B&Q stores, and there was thousands of people queuing outside the B&Q stores.
Jesus.
I just need to go and shut my window because someone's crushing cans in the garden.
Go on then.
It's all right, no worries. He's only the step lad. He's had all day today. He thinks Dane's doing a live stream. I'll go outside and do it. So, but yeah, like they opened B&Q today apparently, and there were thousands of people queuing. Because everyone must want to go and do the garden. I don't. That's.
I thought you couldn't do it. I thought they were saying the other day you couldn't buy paint and everything. It's not essential to paint your fence, which is bullshit. But
to be fair, if my missus asked me if they were selling paint, I'd say nah. They won't let me have it. Just so I don't have to do it, to be honest.
Unfortunately, I had some left in the shed from last year, so I had no choice.
I think I've told this story on my stream before. Because I'm a plasterer by trade, I rendered my back garden wall probably about 5 years ago and bought the paint to do it for about 5 years ago. And I was actually going to do it last summer. But when I went to get something out of my shed, the paint fell all over my black tracksuit. And I thought, you know what? Fuck it, I'm not doing it. So now that job is permanently on the back burner. Answer is yes, Dana. Let me just send a link because if Dave's not going to make it, I've got a substitute and he's a good substitute. So what I'll do is I'll ask you a question, Pete. I will be listening. Basically, what we like to talk about is your gaming journey, like not so much collecting journey, because I know that's a special part for you. We can get onto that a little bit later, but just like your gaming history, what you first started playing, what you had growing up, etc., etc.
Okay, cool. Do we go from beginning to now, or because it's a long journey in it?
But just go to beginning and then till before you started collecting, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, cool. Okay. So basically, I started out originally. My dad had a Commodore 64 back in the 80s. Not entirely sure around about what time, but the first game I ever played was Way of the Exploding Fist, which came out around about 85. So I played that on my dad's Commodore, and then in 86 I moved house to another part of the city. And I don't know which Christmas it was, but I got a Commodore 64C, which was absolutely amazing, fantastic. I can't. There's like Rambo and some other games like where you have to shoot. Just a light gun game basically. Went from the Commodore 64 to an Amiga 500, so I was Commodore all the way. And then when the consoles came out, I had a cousin whose best friend next door had a Mega Drive. Well, I played on that, thought that was pretty cool. Then he got a SNES, and I was converted. Then I met a guy who was older than me who was working. So he was buying like SNES stuff, he was getting imports. He got a Magicom, he's pirating everything left, right, and centre because I was pirating everything before that. And so I played all the SNES with him. When I got my own SNES, when I got a paper round, and then from there I went to the PlayStation, which was like 97-ish. And then it gets a bit murky then, because I know that from 97 to 2000 I had the PlayStation. 2000 I got a PlayStation 2, but in between I picked up an N64, and I don't know why. And I remember seeing Donkey Kong Country on the kiosk back in Toys R Us in Birmingham City Centre. No, I don't know if you remember Toys R Us. I don't think it's still there, is it?
The Toys R Us by me, because obviously if you know Birmingham, you know my area. My nearest one would be Albury Island. That's my nearest Toys R Us. Well, it's still actually a Toys R Us, but it's just empty. They've not done anything with the big factory unit like so.
So I don't know what Birmingham's like anymore, but back in the day, there used to be the Academy, and there was the Oasis Market above it, and opposite was a massive Toys R Us. And I went there when it first opened, but I got my N64 after seeing it there. And then for some reason, I ended up picking up a Dreamcast at the end of its life, which was like about a year, I think that was. So that would have probably been 99-ish, just before the PlayStation 2. So I remember, I don't know why I even bought one, because I wasn't a Sega guy at all. I just remember coming out of work one night and Argus was selling them for 50 quid. So I was like, I'll grab one of them. Because I think I hadn't got a console. I'd sold my PlayStation and my N64, and I was just stuck with nothing until the PS2 came out. And the Dreamcast was absolutely brilliant. Love that machine. So then I got a PS2. That lasted a year. And then I flipped over to Xbox and become an Xbox guy. And then it was like 360, and it all gets very messy after that. So.
I was going to say, because you are currently still collecting for the Xbox, or are collecting again for the Xbox. Shouldn't you change your name to Xbox-tastic or what?
Well, maybe one day, and this will piss off people who are watching this who know me, that one day I will get a SNES collection again. But you know,
the one thing I will say, Pete, when like obviously I probably came back into YouTube when you almost when you said you were going away from gaming. But what I know is your collection has constantly been changing, and you've been stopping collecting again. But I think there is some point in all our lives. Like, I mean, I was collecting retro games probably before they were really classed as retro games. In my late teens, early 20s, I was collecting stuff like that. And then I decided I wanted to go on holiday with my mates, and so that all went. And then I didn't start doing it again probably till I turned 30, which is about 6 years ago. So, like, you know, there is times where I can see a comment here from 2D UK. He just says half a
yeah. Hello, Stu. Yeah. It's not definite. I might do, but you know.
So come on, tell the people who are watching, because there's a lot of new tubers here, your story with the old collection and giving up and coming back and stuff like that. We've got at least 2 hours to fill now, because we've got another guest coming on anyway.
Okay. Well, in a nutshell, basically, back in 2003, I think, about 2003, 2004, I was living on my own, and I decided to try picking up a Super Nintendo and see how I get on with it. I wasn't really looking to collect. I was just looking to just get some nostalgia, really. So I picked up a SNES. In fact, I got a Japanese Super Famicom, was the first thing I picked up. Because prior to that, I'd been living with my best mate. And this was like the early days of eBay, so we'd had like a Super Nintendo and a Mega Drive too, just some cheap ones off eBay. And I thought it was all right, but the PAL SNES just didn't do for me at the time because of the speed and everything and the borders and all that. So when I lived on my own, I got a Famicom, started collecting there. And then from there, like everybody who does collecting, it sort of spiraled out of control a little bit, because I got a SNES, got a Japanese Mega Drive, which was actually an Asian one. I didn't know it was the wrong one at the time. And then from there, up until 2008, before I even started doing YouTube, I was like hardcore Super Famicom, Mega Drive. I bought Neo Geo AES, Neo Geo CD, CDZ. I bought what else? I bought even bought Panasonic Q at one point just for the hell of it. So I was just buying everything I could get my hands on. And then in 2008, I moved down south to Somerset. And in 2009, I was looking at YouTube and I was wondering around, watching people, what they were doing. I had a different name back then as well, so I was just in the comments. And I thought, pretty good what they're doing. And my dad said to me, like, why don't you give it a try? And like at the time, I had major social anxiety in terms of being on camera.
I don't want to cut you off. It's just our second guest has kindly joined. So I just want to introduce him. And Stu's asked a comment saying, have I not got a bottle opener? I have. But my original guest who didn't turn up stressed me that much. I forgot to A, get my beer, and B, get my bottle opener. So I'm using my teeth and I don't even care. But with our second guest, I believe you're familiar with our second guest anyway. It's returning. What the fucking shirt you got on?
Hello.
What the fuck is that shirt?
It was hot this morning, so I thought I'd.
I thought we got Joe Exotic on then. Where's your tiger?
How are we? You all right?
I'm good, mate. Thank you for filling in. And obviously, I know you know Pete, so I thought.
Hey, Pete, good to see you, mate.
Hi, Steve.
So I'm guessing, Steve, while you've been setting up, you've not been hearing. Pete's telling us his story of his collecting, how he was buying stuff and how he's given.
Oh.
So you might want to open the beer.
Do you know what? In that case, I could have taken another hour.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, you could have definitely changed that shirt.
You know what? I followed Pete. Well, he will remember this. Cooking with Pete.
Oh man, don't bring that up.
Yeah. So there's been a incarnation of Pete before his gaming channel. So followed Pete for ages. So like I said, it's great to see you in a live stream, mate.
Yeah, it's good to see you, mate. And all. Been a while.
Yeah.
But thanks for joining, Gashead, man, because I've been scrambling. You know how like I normally like everything to run smooth. Tonight has not been smooth. Pete has been even Pete had hassle because StreamYard fucking updated something today, which made it a ball ache for people to come in. But we got it sorted. But we'll just be carrying on. So last thing I heard was about your Neo Geo and stuff like that. You was picking up. If you want to carry on from there, Pete.
Yeah. So as I say, I got 2009. My dad said to me, you know, you should give that YouTube thing a try. And I was major social anxiety back then. Still got a bit now, but back then I was just not going on cameras and I was terrified of all of that. And I got a really shit phone at the time, so before smartphones. So the video's still on my channel. You can see the very first thing I ever did. I just basically took out a couple of games that I had, sort of filmed them and talked over the top. It was terrible. And I just posted that and got a bit of feedback. And I thought, oh, actually, people do give a shit. So I was like, okay, cool. So then I decided, I think I did another video where I just like knocked something together, like a top 10 thing. And then I did my first video on camera, was just absolutely shitting myself doing it. And I started getting a bit of a following, so that was really cool, you know. The YouTube journey itself's been a bit of a nightmare since then. It's been all over the shop. So from 2009 to 2000.
We'll do your YouTube story separate.
Okay, cool.
YouTube journey. Because I have a feeling that's a memorable one.
Where the hell was we now? Hang on, what's
2009. Stu says, Pete, you need to come in, or we'll beat it right out to you.
Thanks, Stu.
Yeah, you do, Pete.
Yeah, at the end of the day, look, I mean, I fucked up loads of times, but you know, everybody has. Everybody I watch on YouTube, whether they are as honest as I am and as open as I am, they've all gone and like sold shit and bought it back. You know, so I think majority of normal people,
Burnt Out Culture springs to mind. A friend of mine, Mark Burnt Out Culture, buys his Mega Drive stuff, sells it to David Jameson, and then now he's buying it all back. Well done with that.
You see, like most people on here, like us, like, who are just normal people who ain't trying to cause trouble. We understand all this, and we take the piss out of each other, like blokes do. It's only the odd prick that comes on and just trolls people. So you know. Some people just don't get it. They don't understand the collecting part of it.
Well, I suppose once you've got a full set, you might as well sell a few and then try and get them again.
Bit of a challenge. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Steve, how have you found it?
found what collections and things like that. Sorry, mate.
Like you're collecting, because I know you're back on your Blu-rays again, ain't you now?
Yeah, so mine was a bit of a nightmare, to be honest. I had quite a big collection of Mega Drive games, and at one point I was going to go for a full collection. It was really I was going to go for a full collection because I was doing YouTube videos, not because I wanted to. As such, I mean, don't get me wrong, it was great to have a look at them and see them up on the shelves and things like that. But it's not, to pay X amount of money for a game that I'm probably never going to play, never really liked in the first place, and I mean that's just silly, really. So I sold all of those. To Climb Ben Nevis, if anybody remembers that. That was an experience that sticks with me forever. So it was quite a unique thing to do. But yeah, I mean, collections kind of like come and go. Like Pete said, I'm into buying Blu-rays now, and I've had 3 big collections of Blu-rays and subsequently sold them off. So God knows what I'm going to do with this lot, but hopefully keep them and enjoy them.
Stu has actually called someone. Pete, Stu has referred to you as a legend on YouTube. I've never seen him call anyone a legend.
He's in awe.
I appreciate that.
We have got Dave, Lawn Boys Post, knocking around in the back. Whatever he's doing, he almost had himself connecting. So if he comes, there'll be 4 of us, which I'm more than happy with. But he's gone again now. So, honest to God, I'm not bullshitting people. Dave, Lawn Boys Post was going to be on here. I'm not making it up. He just keeps popping in and out. So anyway, we've interrupted your story of your collection buying and selling again. So please carry on, Pete, man.
I don't even know where I got to at this point, to be honest.
2009, I think you said.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's well, yeah. The collecting side really went into overdrive then. Thank you, appreciate that, mate. Nice one.
Gashead's here as well. Another legend.
Yeah, for a little stage. Yeah, because like in 2009 I started doing YouTube, and then it was really smooth sailing. And I'm going to be completely honest now, because I don't like to be too open, even though I have been on my channel. But from 2009 up until 2012, everything was going great, and then my life went to shit, and that's why I ended up selling stuff, because I've got no money and I fucked everything up. So I had a lot of problems, and so basically I had to sell the whole lot, and that's why the SNES collection went out the window. Now, when you're watching my videos, I do my best to hide what was going on the most of the time. So anyone watching the videos just like, well, why the hell are you selling all that after you've done all that work? It wasn't that simple. Life gets in the way. And ever since then, I've just been trying to sort of claw my way back. And so now I'm in a position where I can do it a little bit at a time, because I'm only doing Xbox. So it's not expensive. And I'm doing a bit of PlayStation 1, but that's a case of just buy a game, play it, buy a game. And they're not expensive. So I've sort of took me a long time, but I've got to a point now where I know what I'm doing. I'm not just making a complete opposite, basically.
What I'd say to you there, Pete, one, massive respect for being honest, but also I think people nowadays might more respect that, because I'll be honest, right? If this carries on for a long time, I have got stock, because I do buy and sell at the events. I actually saw you at the Bristol Gaming Market, the first one. But if my stock ran out and I'd still got no money, then my collection would have to go, and it's as simple as that. And I especially think in this current climate, a lot of people on YouTube would have more respect for your views if you're, if you were struggling for money and you need to sell your collection, so be it, man, because there's some dickhead who wears a top hat who's decided to go begging for fucking money on YouTube, and that is not respectful, you know what I mean? He's got thousands of pounds worth of games sat behind him, just like myself and anyone else. So I think, massive respect for you, Pete, for one, for being honest for why you did it, and two, for taking a more moral way of doing it. At the end of the day, it's stuff that you can buy back. You need to, as long as there's no sentimental value, it's just stuff, Like, this isn't fucking Sonic 1 that my fucking nan bought me for Christmas. It's just fucking Sonic 1, you know what I mean? Yeah, at the end of the day, as long as nothing's got any sentimental value to it, and you needed to do it in that situation, then so be it, man. So be it.
Yeah. It's just, it's being an adult, isn't it? You got to be realistic.
Yeah. Totally, mate. But I understand, like, probably YouTube was a different place back then when you were deciding to sell it. But I think definitely in the current climate, you get more respect. We have got one question from a very new channel. If you've not subscribed to him, his name's Schmuckpilot79. Really nice guy. He's going through his journey of setting up his games room. He's got some really nice stuff, some nice B&Os. He says, Pete, have you had the seller's remorse, or what do you do? Just shake it off. So, like, once you've got rid of everything, how do you feel afterwards, sort of thing? I think
this is the problem. A lot of Dad said on the other stream. I'm the same as Dad. I'm all or nothing, and that's like anything in life. You know, I'm 100% full force, or I don't give a fuck about it. And the problem is when I do that, a couple of years back, I moved house and I ended up buying PAL SNES games and Mega Drive games and get back into the collective. And it was great for a couple of months. And then I had a major depression moment and just went, oh, fuck this, I've had enough, I'm getting rid of it all. And then I sold it all. And I said to myself, oh, well, get rid of your TV and all, don't get rid of the CRT. You'll never get off the collecting bandwagon, you'll be back on it again. I'll get the CRT. What's that Steve thing?
Sorry,
I don't know. Fucking
yeah, no. Do you know what? I'm seeing in the show, aren't I?
So, yeah.
We've got a question for you in a minute. Just let fucking Pete talk, will ya?
Yeah,
Fucking messing around. Just fingers on lips, hands on bottoms, whatever it is. Carry on,
fingers
Pete.
on cameras.
So I have had seller's remorse quite a few times, but it's just one of them things. It's a mood thing. It's up and down. Whereas now, at this moment in time, I'm totally smooth with it. But as you said, you know, at the end of the day, you can buy this stuff back unless it's stuff that you had originally when it first came out and it's got sentimental value, like your mum bought it or you know your granny bought it or something. Then fair enough. Then you're gonna have massive remorse. But if you just bought it off eBay and you built a collection and you have to sell that shit, and then like 6 months or a year later you've got in a better financial position, you can do it again. Just do it again. You know, what's the big deal? So
No, I totally agree with that. We've got a question for Steve from Darth Steve 333, your friend and mine. He says, "Our Gashead Star Wars figure actually carded one from back in the day?" Now I know the answer from this because I can tell from it, but I'll let you answer.
Unfortunately not. So they've released a retro collection, which is the same figures based on a same mold of the original ones. They look the same, they feel the same. There's a couple of noticeable difference. The main one is they've got a horrible retro collection sticker on it, which is an absolute nightmare to get off of. And they've got like a I was going to say terms and conditions, but like a health and safety little pamphlet in the back, which you can notice, which obviously back in the day, you know, we never had health and safety, so they weren't there. But there's a couple of noticeable difference. But in regards to how they look and how they sort of like bring back memories, then they're sort of the next best thing, really.
I'm glad there is differences because as someone who sells toys and I saw them coming out, I thought this is going to open an absolute fucking
on the back of the leg, all the original ones have got either 1978 or 9 or 77. They've got the dates on there, and so have these. They've got like 2019, I think it was, or 2018 on the back. So there is differences.
That's good. I'm guessing there's some story behind Cyber Snake's comment there, Pete.
Yeah. I sold most of my American. I don't know if you've ever seen my videos back then, but I had an American SNES collection with up to about 126 games boxed. And the majority of them went to Jay and to a retro Dave at the time. So Jay got some really nice games that are really expensive right now.
Jay always seems to come out smelling the roses from anyone's collection.
You see, Jay's the one that you need to watch because Jay's the one that's got the big collection and never gets phased by any of this shit. He just keeps collecting and he never gets, you know.
I will tell you the truth about, you know, Jay's room, right?
Yeah.
Because I've been to Jay's room because I popped him some stuff off that Stu Tootie UK had sorted out with him, and Jay literally lives a couple of miles from me, and he invited me in, and it's like Doctor Who's TARDIS because when you see it on the thing, it looks massive, but you go in there and you think, how the fuck does Jay get in here and film, man? It's massively deceptive, but beautiful collection. Like a lot of people on the tubes, man. Steve, I'm just going to highlight a comment for you because Stu is recommending a channel to watch if you want to remove those stickers. I can recommend Toy Polloi. He's a very good channel. I use him to fix my He-Man figures, you know, with the wobbly legs. I use that channel to fix that sort of thing. So
All right, nice one, Stu. I'll check that out.
I've just noticed this chat is chocker. Jesus Christ, look at that.
Hey, you're on a popular stream now, you know,
I know,
Pete.
yeah.
Danester, this is old school variety face. He's also got the same first name as you. Does Pete go back to Birmingham? Where did he grow up? Which I know you told me, but the people here would like to know because old school was originally a Brummie as well.
Oh, good. No, I haven't been back since I left. I don't like to go backwards. I like to move forwards. But it's a bit of a wanky, like fucking, hippie thing. But it's. But yeah, I grew up in Yardley. Basically, I grew up in Yardley, and then when I was 15, I moved to Sheldon. Which, if you know Birmingham, it ain't that far. It's like literally down the road.
So, is that when you said by Solihull? When you were trying to tell me you were, you told me you was fucking Solihull trying to be posh.
No. When I was a kid, I had to live with my parents, obviously. So that was Yardley and Sheldon. And then when I got older, I was still in Sheldon, but I moved further out towards Solihull. So
yeah, I mean, I imagine if I ever left Brum, I wouldn't want to go back there either. But I can say that as a. Someone's actually just written that in the comments as I wrote that, as I said that out loud. That's just Black Country Brummie.
Yeah, you don't like us, do you?
And you don't like fucking us lot either. It's a nightmare when we used to play football. When we used to play football against a Brummie team, and if they played against us, we knew we was kicking lumps out of each other. Gaming Viking, he grew up in Chelmsley Wood. It's all good in the Chelmsley Wood hood. I've worked in Chelmsley Wood. We hated Sheldon posh.
We weren't posh, but you're on about Jesus Christ, mate.
I've never actually seen Sheldon called posh by anyone ever.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. It's like, come on, it's in it.
So, how many times actually, Pete, have you had collections and decided to give up and then gone back? Because I'm guessing, being a gamer, even if you wanted to give up, there's always some reason you'll go back for something like you have done with the Xbox.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think. Like, I started collecting in 2003. I got rid of most of it before I moved down to Somerset to make sure I got cash and stuff available. And then I started collecting again properly in 2009 when I was doing YouTube. And that went right the way through to about 2016 was when I finally decided that was it, I'm out. And then, was it 2016? I think it was when I put that video up. For some reason, still gets comments now. Yeah, I get a bit lost on the date, but it's probably about 3 times, I think, maybe. So it's not been too bad.
2016 seems about right, because I imagine I started doing YouTube in 2016, and I remember subbing to your channel, and then not long after I'd subbed to it, you said you were giving up, and I almost thought, what the fuck's the point of watching this guy then if he's not fucking collecting anymore? I've only just started enjoying his journey. 3 videos in, he's giving fucking up. And then I see you at the blooming 2018 blooming video games market in Bristol.
Yeah, with Steve.
Yeah, with Steve. Just the 2 of you. Because I think when you come past my store, Welsh Boy, Retro Red, Steve, and Metropolis may have been there with you together, because I remember all 4 of you coming past. Talking of which, he's just popped in the channel, Metropolis.
Oh,
hello, Matt. It was just me and Pete that went down there. Obviously, we met up with Steve, Matt.
Mike was there as well, wasn't he?
Mike was there, yeah. Who else? We bumped into Rich King Retro.
Those 2 guys. I can't remember what the channel's called. The
guy with
oh yes, Colin and James. Colin and James.
Yeah, good guys.
Yeah, I sold them some Commodore 64 stuff there.
Nice one. Who else did we meet down there? We definitely met a couple of people, didn't we?
Yeah. It's just
Big Mike, without further ado, Retro. I remember you interviewed.
Yeah, Mike. Yeah,
he's a really nice lad.
Yeah, Mike's a good lad. Obviously in WhatsApp groups with Mike, and we used to do a stream a couple of years ago where there was me, Tootie, Mike, Pete, Old School Variety Face, Mark Burnout Culture. We all used to do a stream together, and we're looking at probably doing that when I decide to retire from doing this, and we're all out of lockdown.
We
But,
got another year to go or something.
Rich King Retro was also stalling at
Retro, yeah.
fucking shelf stacker. He's too busy to come on here. I've messaged him twice. Last time I give him any advice on fucking plastering.
Get him and Novabug back on, and they can talk politics.
Don't get started with politics, Jesus.
I'll try and avoid that on this channel altogether.
Yeah, mate. It's a good call.
Just out of interest, does anyone actually think we're getting out of this lockdown, or is it just going to keep getting extended until we get an antidote?
I don't know. I hope we do.
This is what I was thinking. Is as soon as lockdown stops or eases, surely the virus is just going to spread some more, isn't it? There's going to be more people to get hold of, and I personally scared shitless because it's like I've got conditions that if I get it, cheerio type thing. And when I go back to work,
I'm only 36 as well.
You are?
Yeah, I'm 36 and I've got conditions that
Well, well, I've got the same as you, and it's like I don't know, that scares me. I'm like completely I went into work once one day, and I came home and I was stuck on the train like fucking against the door type thing, and I was thinking like I'm literally putting my life at risk to go to work, and it's like I'm not doing that. So I phoned my boss there and then, like literally got off the tube, phoned my boss. We got a good relationship, and I said like literally I'm going to either self-isolate or I'm going to go in tomorrow and tell the client that if I can work from home. And it was like unfortunately the client was okay with that, but it was like I'm not putting my life at risk, and I'm not sort of like doing this, and all the office workers at home because it's safe to do so, and old Muggins is stuck on the tube with thousands of other people going to work and try to earn a crust. It's like, no, that's it. No.
The way I see it is once I run out of money, I can't pay for shit anymore, and they can't kick me out of the house. So tough shit. They'll have to wait till I get some more money because I'm paying every bill up until now. And at some point, if I can't go out the house and work, I'm not going to earn anymore. So, it becomes a case of that you can't get fucking blood from a stone. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, Scott, you weren't.
Was Scott not the first person?
No.
Scott, don't come in with shit comments again.
That's my sentiments exactly. He's trying to get one up, but no, he wasn't. I think he was third. It's bad.
So, we did briefly touch on, we've talked about Pete selling stuff all the while, but you sold a shitload of PS4s. I did mention on my stream, I think Sony were the highest sellers in the UK, then Argos, then Gashead Steve when it comes to moving PS4s in the UK. Yeah. So did they all go to people in the gaming community, or did some go elsewhere?
No, not so. I think CEX had 3 of them. Scott had one of them. My son had the other one. And then I've still got a PlayStation Pro, and one I think I traded it in. I think I traded it in for, after I bought my PS Pro, I traded it in for a VR headset. I think. Bit of a waste.
Do you still have a VR headset?
No, it's gone. It's gone.
I do.
I regret that.
It's a fucking beautiful ornament. It looks lovely.
Yeah,
it's great. VR's awesome.
So it's such a good system, but it's one of those ones that it's such a pain in the ass to set up and everything. But yeah,
I don't think we're allowed to talk about your first enterprise on this stream, are we, Steve? But I do remember.
The thing is very random because that wasn't my first enterprise, so I can kind of talk about that one, but that was the other one would probably put me back in jail. So let's move on from that.
Yeah, definitely. So obviously we heard Gashead's YouTube story the other day, but we've not heard yours, Pete. So you said you used to watch a lot before. So who did you used to watch, and what decided you to go the way you did with your channel, sort of thing? Because I know your channel's like yourself, and your collecting has constantly evolved itself as well.
Yeah.
Has he gone to sleep?
Yes. Pete, wake up.
Pete, are you with us? Pete. Hang on, let me drop him in.
Bless his soul.
Oh, he's lost connection. Gashead, we're going to have to hold the fort. Tonight's stream has not gone to plan, man. I'm going to stop having nights
No,
off.
mate,
You know?
has it?
No. I'll send Pete a text home to re-click the link. If I kick him out and then he re-clicks the link.
Riddled with
Yeah, I know.
weapons.
Tonight, if you want to prevent the no, he should be able to rejoin now if he re-clicks the link. But yeah, it's just been riddled with nightmares tonight. As I say, like, you know, Pete was coming on. Pete's been a good guest so far.
Yeah.
Lawn Boy's post, I don't know what's happened with him. He kept coming in and out. I'm going to lose all my viewers, man. And I've got streams booked until, what's he called? He's back.
Lockdown.
I didn't even need to text.
Pete.
I don't know. He fell asleep on my stream. He was just sat there with your eyes closed.
Fast asleep.
The good thing is though, is whatever you said, no one heard a word, so you can start again right from the beginning and not confuse anyone.
What did you ask me now? I can't remember.
I bet you. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, got you. Yeah. What was I don't know what I was going to say now.
Who you used to watch is what I asked, like, and then what made you decide to do your whole YouTube?
Gotcha. Hang on, I'm just going to get a position. There we go. Yeah. Well, as I did it back in 2009. I started, and that was when it was really small, and it was like proper hardcore international community at that point. There's a lot of Americans that's obviously doing YouTube, but like British people was sort of people. There was a guy. Oh, I can't remember what his real name was, but his name is CMB Retrospective. He went a long time ago, but he's a really sound guy. He was Carlos. I think that was his name. Really good guy. And there was one that I saw mentioned on the stream with Daz and that the other night. Ian Wilson, 1978. Another top bloke. I used to watch X-File as well. Was that 2708, Steve? I think it was, wasn't
it? Marcus, yeah, 2708.
I can't think who else. Can you remember who was about then? Because Gemma and that lot come later on, didn't they? So.
Yeah, Interghost was still Ains. Some Magnus.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, I wasn't. I mean, I came when I came a couple of years after, I think. So I think the Sainted Magnus, is that his name?
That's right. Yeah. Oh, I remember a guy called Tiger Vamp and all up in Scotland. Like, got massive long hair, proper metalhead job. He was a good dude. And then there was like my good mate Alex Bluetonic 78, who's still around now. There was Owen Labossi 77, he's still going as well. Yeah, so there's quite a few. I mean, YouTube's changed a lot since I've been doing it and since Steve's been doing it. And you know, people have come and gone, and some people have come back, and others have just gone. And now we've got loads of new people like Dane. You know, so it's pretty cool, really. Yeah, there you go. It says there, ratio Bambaston just said it.
That's it, yeah. And also Schmups Pilot 97, although he's a new tuber, he's been around a long time. He's saying like he enjoys your channel, Pete, and he's really enjoyed it, the highs and the lows sort of thing. Like so.
Brilliant. Thanks, mate.
I will say something. I think you probably beat yourself up too much about your own channel, and you might get a little bit of shit from a few people and that, but there's a lot more love out there from the real people in the community, not the ones who are here to fuck you over and troll you, mate. And you should keep your head up high and stay positive about that, definitely.
Thank you. I'll say, to be honest, every time I post a new video, if I haven't done one, even if it's been 6 months and I put a video on, the comments just go mad. And I'm like, oh shit, people do care. You know, when I was watching your stream with Dan and Rob and Adam, they were saying the same sort of thing, that basically you don't realise when you're doing your own videos the impact it's making on people's lives. When I first started doing it, I went down to town to this gaming shop, and I was just picking up some games, just talking to my dad, and some random bloke just tapped me on the shoulder, and he's like, "Oh, you Snestastic?" And this was like really like back in 09, 2010 era, and I was like, "Shit, what do I do?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's just like, "Oh, well, I love your channel, blah blah blah." And I thought, "Bloody hell!" And it's like the reality kicks in then, because when we're doing it, you just talk to a camera and talk to mates, innit? You know.
I think that's where live streams differ from doing a video, because I find these easy because, one, I know there's an audience there to my right on the chat, but then also I know there's like a conversation going amongst the three of us, so I don't feel like you say, you're talking to the unknown, really. You don't know if what you're saying applies to what people are interested in. Whereas here, like, it's just a free flowing chat for sure, like it, and it feels natural to do it this way.
Yeah.
That's the nice thing, isn't it? It's like it's just us free talking. I mean, obviously we've got viewers sort of asking questions and everything like that, but at the moment I'm just looking at Dana, I'm looking at Pete. Do you know what I mean? So everything that I say is to you two, which can get you in trouble, I guess, sometimes. But
I always get people in trouble. Pete, again, let me just highlight this comment because Stu, Pete, you need to come to an event, mate. You'll feel and be loads better. Speak to Rob Gernaldinho. I don't know if you don't fucking Stu. Where have you spelled Gernaldinho there, man? Fucking hell. That is the
Gernaldinho. Hi, Leo.
Is that Gernaldinho plays long lost Brazilian brother? But anyway, Rob Gernaldinho, if you're not familiar with his channel, because he's quite new, Pete, he's an off-camera presence. He does YouTube. Like yourself, he suffers really bad with anxiety. I mean, you might want to watch his video about he just randomly turned up at the Doncaster gaming market, which is where I sell. And he met a lot of other tubers who had never ever seen his face. They didn't know what he looked like. All they'd ever seen were his hands. But he documents his journey and how he coped with it, like getting on the train and stuff like that. So, you know, hang on, I've got a troll. One of the admin kick that troll, that Nintendo mug boy, kick him out because he's a fucking idiot. But what I can say is, and Rob will testify to this, is once you get there and you meet people who you've spoke to a long time on YouTube and that, all those inhibitions will be gone and it'll be just talking games, having a laugh and stuff like that. I mean, I know you went to the Bristol market, but I always... I always think that you're one of the major YouTube presences that's missing from one of the big YouTube meetups. So if you only do it once in your life, definitely do it, mate, because there is a lot of love for you from the community. As I told you before this stream, there were people who were asking me, get Snestastic on, and I never really had any conversation with her until a couple of days ago, you know, but I could sense there were people who there who out in the community who wanted to talk to you and stuff like that. So, you know, you'd be welcome with open arms for sure. And as long as you drink, do you drink beer, Pete?
Yeah.
then you're one of us, mate. Video games and beer.
Exactly.
You're in.
No, I'd love to go to an event. It's just, it hasn't been possible the last few years. But I mean, once this lockdown thing, if it ever comes off and we can actually go and meet each other, I would actually genuinely like to try and do it, you know.
Mate, I'd definitely like to have a beer with you. And also that reaches out to Dave, who unfortunately has not made it onto the stream tonight. Lawn Boys Post, he, like yourself, he doesn't attend the events, but there's a lot of people who have spoke to you online who'd like to just stand at the bar and have a beer with you, if I'm perfectly honest. I think that's what it boils down to.
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing it a long time and, you know, made a lot of good friends. And, you know, I've never really had any major negativity with YouTube, except for one person. That person might be named, so I don't know if they're still around or not. Steve might know who that is. But yeah.
Fuck him anyway.
Hey?
That was long time ago. I think he's popped up a few more times since, but
he's still around.
Yeah, nothing compared to what he was. But I don't know if he's still around, but certainly in the last sort of like 5 years or so, I've heard his name pop up. And
I know
you know who the man is to deal with these sort of people. So if you want to just drop me his name privately, you know, it's my hobby, hunting these people down.
Yeah, sort of managed. Like, he used to be really open about who he was because you Google him, and he had websites all over the place, like blogs and God knows what, and it's all vanished. So I don't know.
Well, good riddance, I'd say.
Yeah, bang on.
But where was we with your YouTube journey? So what made you want to do a channel, and like, you know, what's the your channel as it's evolved?
Yeah. Well, what made me do it really was my dad more than anything. I had a friend at the time a friend of the family's husband was doing, at the time, there was a big thing for doing mashup videos on YouTube. And he was doing a lot of that with like dance music and whatnot. And he was having a bit of traction. He was getting a lot of people around the world being interested. And my dad said to me one night, he says, "Oh, you know, he's doing that. It's quite a laugh. You might enjoy that." And I was like, "Yeah, right. I ain't got the balls to do that." So that's why I've decided to give it a try. Really. And then, of course, when I started doing it, then I started getting subscribers and people just leaving comments, and I was getting involved in the community. And I was like, "This is actually really cool." Because like, up until that point, to be honest, when I started YouTube, it was that weird thing where I thought, am I the only one that's doing this? Am I the only one that's stupid enough to go back and buy all this old shit and just store it in my house? And then I went on YouTube and I was like, no, I'm not. There's
a ton of us. We're everywhere.
Exactly. It's quite amazing, really, especially when you see some of the collections. Just like, Jesus Christ. But yeah, I mean, the actual YouTube journey's been up until the last couple of years, but it all went a bit wrong. It's been really good, you know. And I've had moments. I always get the moments where I think I might as well just jack it in there. But then when I do that, someone on Twitter will message me or something, or on Instagram or something, and I'll realise actually no, just keep going, because I still have the want to do it. I still like doing it. And when I film a video and I put it up and I get a response, it's great. But it's like sometimes I lack the motivation. I mean, I've had someone in the past. I didn't understand this, but I won't say who it was. But they put a video up a couple of years back now, I think it was, and they called me disingenuous, which I thought was fucking hilarious, because I thought, you clearly don't know me. We've never spoken, so that's probably why you think that. But that could be just perception from watching the videos. And they also said that apparently I put up videos because my subscriber count was dropping, and I was like, do I fuck it? I was like, I don't care about subscribers. I think it's awesome that people want to subscribe, but I'm not a YouTuber influencer who's going to be like, oh shit, my numbers are dropping. You know what I mean? It's like, but that's just perception, I think.
I think you're genuinely just one of us who are hobbyists, who are enthusiasts. That's definitely for sure. There's a couple of people in the comments. Jay Cybersnake, been waiting years to meet Pete. Stu, same Jay. So there's people who'd like to have a beer with you. And what I will say, without blowing my own trumpet here, there's people who have come on this stream who've been active at YouTube for a while, who have felt this has been a new breath of release for them. So Pete, I hope I can have some of that rub on off you and make you want to do stuff again for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, but there's people like fucking Bad Fuck Up UK, who I've mentioned him a couple of times. He messaged me privately on Instagram saying, watching what you do has made me decide to not get off my arse, but get back into doing videos on YouTube, because I've missed it, and I've missed the interaction. I think is what everyone misses more than the making the video, for sure.
It reminds us of what we joined YouTube first in the first place. The interaction, the sort of like talking to like-minded people and so on and so forth. And when you're sat in front of a camera doing your own videos, you kind of get, apart from when, like Pete said, you get those comments, you're kind of talking to your own camera, to your own, then you're uploading and so on and so forth. These live streams have, put us all together again. We again, sort of like, without bigging it up into something that, it kind of doesn't need to be. It's a case of we're all now reconnecting, and there's like 40, 50 people all communicating together, which is great.
And that's what it was designed to do, man. I'll be honest, the whole stream was to just get everyone who's in the community, some who've never even spoke before, some who hadn't even done channels or videos or anything, just get us all, give us something to do for a couple of hours on, I do 5 nights out of the 7, just to stop us all going a little bit stir crazy. And I think I've had my first genuine, real random question ever to the stream, and it is, what is your favorite drink / snack whilst gaming? I'll go first because I like eating ice cream, and that's, Steve will know, I go and fuck off and either get I'll tell you, I'll either go downstairs to get an ice cream, or let me see if I've got some wrappers in the room.
Dana fucks off, right? And he would come back. Oh,
what do you call these? I call these tip tops.
Ice pops.
Yeah, tip top.
I knew the Brummy lad would say tip top as well.
No, it's all about ice pops. Yeah, no, we'd be playing FIFA. Suddenly you hear like the chair sort of bang against something. Dana would come back in, and it'd be Russell.
You know what? I start eating more as well, the more pissed off I'm getting with the game. So like, here I've got these here now, man. These fucking, remember these, the sports biscuits with the fucking like in football and stuff on them. I got them, and I'll just start munching them when I'm fucking playing FIFA, because I need to take my mind off and stop over concentrating. But to drink, during the day I just drink squash or fizzy pop. I rarely drink beer when I'm gaming, to be honest, because I'm not that good anyway. It affects my concentration. But over to Steve and then to Pete. What's your favourite snack / drink?
So pretty much the same as you, mate. I mean, I'd love to be a man and say, I drink there you go. I drink Stella when I'm drinking, so on and so forth. But it's orange squash, Ribena, that kind of thing. Biscuits are a must. Custard creams for the win. No biscuits and soft drinks really for me.
I'm going to sound really shit.
He's going to say salad and fucking water because he's an athlete.
Iced tea, you know.
Yeah, I don't eat anything because I can't, because I'm playing the game. But usually it's a cup of tea, or if it's late at night, then it is water because I want to make sure I can get some sleep. So no caffeine. But yeah, I'm really fat. So how's that working?
Mate, I don't think there's many slim ones here or in the comments, mate. I wouldn't worry too much. What I will say though is, you know, the other day, Steve, when we were playing FIFA and my phone rang and I scored a goal.
Yeah.
I was playing Fortnite today with Val, and my dad rung. So like, I've took my headset off, disconnecting my mic so they can't hear the conversation. I've got my phone like this, and I've killed 2 guys while I'm talking. And my dad's, and I'm going, yeah, Dad, saying boom, boom, boom. So I think I need more phone calls while playing video games.
He needs to call more often.
I'll agree there. Nothing wrong with. I do love a good fucking cup of tea. Now, I'm glad
the only thing with having a cup of tea when you're doing something is it will go cold. It's like Pete does a half-hour video, and at the start he'd be like, "Oh, just get a cup of tea, drink it," and then about 28 minutes in, he'd drink another cup. I'm thinking like, that's got to be cold. That's got to be cold.
I would never ever film a video while drinking a cup of tea because, like you say, go cold. But I have what my mum and dad call asbestos mouth because I will drink a cup of tea within 2 minutes of it being made while it's red hot.
I was going to say quickly, and all, we was on about before about YouTube and that. The thing that I love the most about it is that I suppose it's like every community that's not just doing YouTube, is that it brings everybody together from all different backgrounds, from different parts of the country, different parts of the world. And no matter what our situations are or where we come from, we've all got this one thing in common, which I think is absolutely really.
I mean, I always class myself as like, because everyone thinks gamer, nerd, stuff like that. Whereas other than enjoying video games, everything else I'm involved with in my daily life, like I'm a fucking hairy arse plasterer. I played football for many years, you know. I'm if you looked at me at school, I was probably as far from geeky as you could have seen, but I'm still a gamer. I love gaming. I love cartoons and stuff like that. And like you say, like it's different people from, like I've had Raz on, like from Sweden, who talks absolute bollocks all the time, and you just listen to him and you're like, I'm glad he liked video games because I wouldn't understand 90% of the words that come out of his mouth. But as you, there's so many different people, like people I can think off the top of my head. You've got fucking Eddie, who's a skater guy who's into rollerblading, like you know, he's into gaming. Stu to UK, who looks like he fucking probably served 10 years for football violence in the 90s. He's a fucking gamer, you know what I mean? It really is like, you know, there's no boundaries, you know, and the typical term nerd or geek is fucking completely out the window in the current day and age. Definitely.
Yeah. And it seems to be cool to be a geek as well, doesn't it?
Yeah,
these days.
I just think, wouldn't it be better though if the world was like this, if everyone just realised instead of hating each other for pointless reasons, that we've all got something in common? Yeah, I'm not trying to get beef or anything, but yeah.
you won't get beef. There is couple of people who I've met in the last 24 hours who give me quite a few reasons to dislike them, that's for sure. And that's because they find it fucking cool to pick on certain people for no other reason than to try and entertain a few people on their channel, but they're being dealt with. 2UK was in the firm. I just, you know what? I joke about that with Stu, but what it is he used to have one picture on his Facebook profile of him. He looked like he was on holiday in an England shirt, and it just looked like, God, I bet that was his last trip before he wasn't allowed to fly again or something like that. I've never been convicted for football violence, I'll just let you know. Well, no, because you never go to the ground because you're a fucking Liverpool fan, ain't you?
I like the fact he says he's never been convicted, not that he's never been accused.
Exactly.
Novabug says Gashead is a true bruiser.
See, I find that weird about Steve, you know, because Steve's such a nice bloke. And to know what he's like when he used to be a bouncer and whatnot and a hard bastard.
Hold on. I didn't fucking know this. This stream's about to go down a different route now.
Is it really?
If I saw Steve in the street, well, if I didn't know Steve, and like he was on the door of a club or something, I'd shit myself. And yet, he's the softest bastard you could meet. So, you know.
See, because I didn't know he was a bouncer. I fucking, especially when I see like, I went to watch one of them Home and Away. He sent the link to me when he was singing that Home and Away theme for fucking Notable.
Beautiful voice, yeah.
And I see some of his pictures on Facebook. I think Steve's just like a mild-mannered fucking, family guy, mild-mannered. But obviously, you've got a dark past, Steve. I want to know.
So I'll say something, then we'll move swiftly on if that's all right. When I was a kid, so from 14 to 20, I was that kid where it was like, if you look at me funny, you're having it, that type of thing. And this is going to get deep. Me and my friends used to go out between 17 and 19. We used to go out and we used to look for fights. I met my ex-wife when I was sort of like 18 and a half type thing. He went out with another fella, got into a fight and subsequently got put into a coma. And he was there for 3 months, I think, before they turned off the life support system. And at that moment, it was literally a massive wake-up call, And from sort of like 20 onwards, it was like Pete said, I've seen that side of it and I don't like it. And I would do everything. I'm like you, Dane. It's a case of like, if I see any sort of bullying or any shit like that, I don't like it. I don't like trolls. I don't like trolling people, like I said in the group. But if you're bringing it, then I'm more than happy to put you in your place. But I really actively do not condone any sort of violence, no more. And it's like Pete said, when I was a doorman, Pete, not bouncer. When I was a doorman, it was like I was always the passive one. I was the one that could talk somebody down. We had a group of people where there was one guy that you just wouldn't mess with just by looking at him. There was one guy who was a complete and utter nutter, and you knew if it was going to get tasty, it was probably going to be his fault. But I was always the passive one because I've been there, I've seen the repercussions, and yeah.
I'm certainly sorry to hear about your friend, and much like you, I'm like, someone could say and probably do anything to me, and I could turn the other cheek. It's when they fucking, like, this is in real life as well. When I've been out with my friends, if someone starts on one of my mates who doesn't cause trouble and doesn't look after himself, then I'm always the one who steps up then, because I get more pissed on someone bullying or upsetting one of my mates than I do if they're upsetting me, if you know what I mean. Because I know I can just take it and fucking walk away, whereas I know other people and my friends can't. And that's just, I'd like to say I've fucking grown out of it, but I probably haven't.
So that's where I've completely changed. I was exactly the same as you, but it's like literally there's always a bigger fish, and it's like that's my mentality now. So I'm that person that puts my arm around somebody and says, "Come on, it's not worth it." Whereas like, of course I can handle myself. That's not in doubt, but it's like you just don't know. And certainly being in London now, it's like you really don't know. It's like, and I'm standing on the door, I'm doing my job, I'm getting paid 15 quid an hour. And then somebody shanks me in my kidneys, and I'm dead 10 minutes later. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah. It's
so just put your hand around somebody and walk them off.
Yeah. Well, to lighten the mood, because when you mentioned you used to be a bouncer, Dave Retro Goes Badly said he used to be a Chippendale. Now I'm not sure if he's on about the Rescue Rangers, but Flashback TNT imagines hunks of YouTube Retro Community Challenge charity calendar. I reckon it's something we could definitely make happen. I mean, obviously, I'm fucking going to be in there being the best looking bloke on fucking YouTube for a start.
January pinup, clearly.
I'd fucking be front cover, definitely. Topless 2 to UK with his D cup. He's fucking in there. So that's probably February. Who else we having?
Raz. Got a physique anyway, like.
Jay, we could have a little collection because he's one of the small people of the community, and so we could have like a collection of them for the 1 month. Raz, because some women are into like people who are doing grey, so we'll have Raz in there. How about Woodlin, Chris's Shank, double spread, arms round each other, the two fat bastards. I'm feeling that.
Yeah.
Big Game Al could be December. Have him like in a Santa, like, you know, Santa hat and some sort of crotch attire would definitely be up there.
That would work.
We'd have to get Marcus, Dad and Lads Gaming. He would have to do the advert for it because he's like probably the best speaker on YouTube, I'd say. So he could definitely do the fucking advert, you know. Make sure you get my picture of me on the cover, that's for sure. How about short people? That's what I'm saying. The short people, you could almost get them all together, like, and it would make one full size human being then for the people to visit. You didn't know what you was getting into, did you, Pete? Really, when you come on here? That...
That's all right. I never knew Carl was short even until he said in his video.
Which one, Carl?
Yeah, I was really surprised. What?
Which one?
No, Carl's room 70.
Carl's room 70 is not fucking small.
I thought he was
fucking tiny. The small like Gruss Newton, Jay Cybersnake, and that. No, mate, I'm talking Carl. He's probably as high as my chair, I'm reckoning. I think he come free in a box of Kellogg's in 1987.
Pete, have you seen the 80s movie Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
I haven't actually seen it now.
You've never seen Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
Oh, God.
Oh, I don't want to skip, but I don't remember.
It's not Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. It's Willy Wonka in it. The 1980s one. The new one's Charlie.
No. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory was Stu Wilder.
Was he?
Willy Wonka is. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Willy Wonka is the Johnny Depp one.
Yeah. Did you watch? Oh shit! What's it called? The Dim and Barbara Fleet Street.
Sweeney Todd.
Yeah, I watched that. Yeah. Johnny Depp one. Yeah, it's all right.
That's a musical, Dane.
What is? Which one?
The Johnny Depp one. It's a musical.
What? Because the Oompa Loompas sing that fucking song. Oompa Loompa, Oompa-dee-doo. If I was wise,
listen to me.
Yeah, fucking.
Pete looks completely bemused.
I was watching it with a girl, so I don't remember much about it.
Actually, Steve, I am going to agree because there is that other song that he sings. Oh, I'm trying to think what it is now. When they go through the tunnel and
it all goes crazy.
Come with me and you'll see a world of pure imagination.
So you do like musicals? I fucking knew it.
That's not musical, man.
Pete, Dana was giving me shit about liking The Greatest Showman the other day.
Greatest Showman's the best film in the
Told you, Willy Wonka was the old one. Told you.
What's wrong with The Greatest Showman?
All right, okay. I stand corrected.
Fucking call yourself a movie buff.
What's wrong with The Greatest Showman?
I don't know. I've not watched it.
Nothing.
Oh, mate, watch it. It's brilliant.
What's it about?
PC Barnum does the circus, but it's really good.
I'm not into that. But Metropolis has got a question. And it's not just a Gashead, because obviously now Pete's committed that he's a musical fan as well. What is your two's favourite musical?
Hands down, Greatest Showman.
Oh, fuck me.
Yeah.
That's a tough one, you know. It's between that and Hairspray, you know, with John Travolta. That was really good, that was. No, I thought it was a good film.
Didn't like that.
Oh, Grace. Yeah.
I'm going to go with Little Shop of Horror.
Would you class Mary Poppins?
That's a good call. Say again, Pete.
Is Mary Poppins classed as a musical or not?
Oh.
Yeah.
The new one, not the crap old one. Yeah.
Are you fucking joking me?
No,
you just said the fucking crap old one is one of the greatest films of all time.
Have you watched it recently? It doesn't hold up.
Look, I remember watching that. Like, you know, when you had that one video as a kid that fucking was probably on close to breaking because you watched it that much. My mom fucking hates Mary Poppins, the original one, because I loved it so much as a kid. And I don't care. It will not beat my views, but I would go Little Shop of Horror as the best musical just because it's a horror film and it's got Rick Moranis in it.
I thought that was shit.
Really? Steve Martin as well, wasn't it? Little Shop of Horrors, the dentist.
I want to be a dentist.
I have a pleasure of causing people pain. Is that right?
Yes. Question for both. What was your first arcade experience and where? I feel like Graham from Blind Dating. So, Pete, if you want to go first.
I don't know what my first one was. I haven't got a clue, to be quite honest with you. I only have like little memories of arcade experiences, like when I went to Wales and I was kicking the shit out of Pit Fighter, and I had a load of kids around the cabinet as we completed it, which was awesome. And I got in trouble with the bloke who owned the arcade as well because he had one of those, I don't know, some kind of gambling machine or something, and he stole my money. So I punched it really hard, and he wasn't too happy about that. So,
that's what gambling machines are supposed
I've got
to do.
a story about a fucking gambling in a bit. I'll tell you in a minute. I'll let Gashead tell his arcade experience.
It was we used to play tennis when I was a kid every Saturday morning, and they had a machine kung fu. You know that little
tennis. How posh was you growing up, Gashead? Fucking tennis.
Dane, I'm from Bath.
Bath. How many F's in that?
Just the two. Bath. Kung fu in the tennis club and Operation Wolf in like the local sort of arcade.
Nice. Talking about gamblers, I used to go out with a lad. I'll not mention his name because he was a really bad gambler. Well, the one night we were drunk and he put about like 150 quid in a gambler. And we had the idea of unplugging it and trying to wheel it out the front door in the Saracen's Head in Dudley. And we got to the front door and the bouncer asked what I was doing. And I tried to make up some story that we were the repairmen. He goes, well, why are you in your going out jeans? And why have you got a bottle of beer in each hand? I was like, nah, shit. And we fucking managed to nudge this fucking machine like a bit at a time to the fucking doorway trying to get it out. But I did manage to once steal something from a local nightclub when we were in our 20s. They used to have like a beach party in the summer. They'd set up a fake beach by the canal. And there was these massive... I've just realised the part of this story. They were about 6.5 foot Corona bottles of Corona inflatable ones.
Topical.
So I know I didn't even realise they were Corona. And I just decided I was pissed and I wanted one, which is like a continuing story of when I used to go out drinking. I used to fucking commandeer stuff and take it. So anyway, I'll pick up this huge Corona bottle and just put it on my shoulder because it weighs nothing. And I walk to the door and the bouncer goes, where are you taking that? And I just looked at him and tutted. I went, mate, I've just won it on the raffle. Did you not hear him say? And like, he's just completely like, he's like, oh, okay. And just let me walk out with it. So anyway, I leave it in my front room with mum and dad's because I was still living with mum and dad's then. My mum comes down and all I hear is bawling and shouting. I was thinking, oh, what the fuck have I done now? I just left this Corona in the middle of the front fucking room, sat there. But about 3 years later, we went to a boot sale, my mate. It's probably when I sold all my PS1 stuff. And I took this bottle of Corona and everyone kept coming to our store because it had this massive bottle of Corona on the top of my Fiat Punto drawing attention. But that is...
Who says crime doesn't pay?
Hey, mate. Look, they probably got given it anyway. Right, another question. Actually, a sensible question from Big Game now. Q for both. What's the best arcade game ever to get a release on a console and why? So I'll let Snestastic go first.
Oh, thanks. That's. Do
you want us to come back to you? Do you want me to come back to you?
I've got one, but I'm trying to think. I mean, if you're talking objectively, it's a bit more difficult. But on a personal level, it would probably be Pit Fighter on the Amiga. It was the only decent port that ever got put out. Even though everyone hates the game, I think it's amazing.
Yeah, it's notorious on other systems. Is it the Spectrum or is it the Amstrad that it's really unplayable?
You ever tried the Super Nintendo version? It's horrendous.
I vaguely remember. I think I might have had it on the Game Boy or something, and I imagine it was probably dog shit on that as well.
The Amiga's the only one that gets the sprites the right size. I mean, the Mega Drive's got really small sprites, but it actually works really well. It hasn't got, I don't think it's got scaling either, but it plays really good.
Yeah, because if I remember, the sprites in the arcade were quite huge, weren't they? And
yeah, it do that Neo Geo thing where the camera just zooms in and out like that and makes them small and big.
Yeah, I also did any of them actually get the like crowd interaction right? Because I vaguely remember, like, if you went too close to the crowd, you used to get hit by the crowd, or a knife would be thrown in and stuff like that.
Yeah, they'd push you back in and all when you're trying to fight. Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember if the Amiga one did or not. So I remember the Amiga one. I don't think it plays particularly well. I think it's just all right. but like graphically, it's the closest they got on it. And why they haven't done that? And someone should like what do you call it, like homebrew it. Someone should do it on a system. There's got to be a console that can run that.
I'm surprised, right? You know, until we'll move to Gashead's question in a minute, answer in a minute.
Going, come on.
Sorry, mate. I'm just thinking while it's in my head. You know, all these broken games that we go on about. I'm surprised that. I mean, I know some of them have been fixed, like R-Type on the Amstrad has, but you'd think more of them would be. I mean, perhaps there's not a call like. Imagine if there was like a really good game that like had a cult following that was bad on one system, maybe that would get fixed then. But there is a lot of games that maybe probably could have been fixed.
There is a way to fix the Amstrad, you know.
Go on. And that's everything from Snestastic tonight. Thank you for being on, Pete. We'll get you on again soon. So anyway, same question to Gashead. The best game to be ported from the arcade to a home system.
Sunset Riders springs to mind. We have one of those arcade machines in the local pub, but I think the one that excited me, well, two that excited me the most. Being a certain age, it's like I remember Pac-Man machines and Space Invaders when they got a release. That was quite exciting. I love those two games anyway. So Sunset Riders, Pac-Man, and Space Invaders.
Nice one. More questions. This is Pixel Plug. He's a local lad to me. He's probably a couple of miles away as well because I recognised his accent. He's recently started doing a channel. He did a talk pretty much like we're doing on my stream where he talks his gaming history. Really interesting. If anyone wants to go over after this stream, sub to Pixel Plug, listen to it. It's more like a podcast, which is really interesting. But anyway, his question to both. What's the greatest game that you have played, arcade or console? So basically the best game you've ever played. And you can't say FIFA 19 with Dane. So that's a fucking given, Steve.
Damn it.
If you want to go first, Pete.
Oh, see, everyone expects me to go with Super Nintendo, but I mean, if I'm absolutely, I'd probably say Uncharted 2, to be honest. Every game I've ever played, because that's like the game that if I've got nothing to play and I'm bored, I put that on, and I've completed it about 15 times so far. So it's like that game is just phenomenal in every way. I mean, the only thing that ruins it is the ending. The boss is a twat at the end, but the actual the way the story, the characters, the gameplay, the level design, it's just near enough perfection.
Nice. How about you then, Steve?
So, like Pete said, Uncharted 2 is a fantastic game. I've kind of swapped and changed between two games at the moment, and they're both modern games. I put something on Twitter the other day. Spider-Man, what a game that is! And I mean that is breathtaking.
PS4 one.
The PS4 one. Yeah. Breathtaking, but like Pete mentioned on Twitter, it's quite easy. So I would go Uncharted still, but Uncharted 4. I thought that was mind blowing. Absolutely fantastic game. And what I like about those games, there's always something different happening. It's not like just one format. You know, one format you're shooting in the forest. Next thing you're like hurtling down a fucking village in a jeep. So Uncharted 4.
I think Uncharted 4 as well is probably a good choice because Uncharted 2's got the shit boss at the end, whereas Uncharted 4, from beginning to end, there isn't anything you can criticise that game for.
No.
Well, too late, Pete. You had your pick first. You can't go copying off. This is not like fucking schoolwork where you look over and see what someone's put and we copy it. But we seem to be heading down a different route now because you're both film fans, and obviously I am. Although no one fucking includes me, they just forget I'm here. I'm just a fucking host. So anyway, as you're both film fans, three films they'd recommend people may not have seen. So like, you know, not your classics, maybe like something like a little bit obscure. So Steve, if you want to go first this time, and then Pete. So 3 films, hidden gems, maybe, shall we call it? I'll do a top 9 video tomorrow. Metal Dana's fucking hidden gem films or something.
Look forward to that. Right, so two I can think of. 3 I'm struggling with the third, but first one is The Man with One Red Shoe, Tom Hanks. it seems to get like Tom Hanks. Obviously, everybody's heard of him. He's done some blockbuster films, but The Man with One Red Shoe, I think, is a bit of a hidden gem because not many people that I know of heard about it. So fantastic! Like it's basically Tom Hanks gets set up for a crime he doesn't commit. It's a comedy, and it's just funny and good laugh. Second one, horror. I'm going to go with Vamp. Grace Jones and Dee Dee Pfeiffer. It's a vampire film. It's like obviously set in the 80s with neon lights everywhere. That's fucking amazing. So if you haven't seen that and you're a horror fan, definitely Vamp. Third one, there's a Corey Haim film called Lucas, which is again another sort of 80s cheesy classic thing where basically we're talking about trolls a lot at the moment, aren't we? But he's like a young kid that gets picked upon. He falls in love with somebody who's sort of well-to-do, a popular girl, and so on and so forth. And it's kind of about their relationship and him getting bullied and having that love for her that sort of sees him through, and then she cops off with one of the bullies and that sort of thing. So great film. There you go. That's my three.
So how about you then, Pete?
Yeah, well, good choices there, Steve, because I haven't heard of any of them, so that was good. So the first one I'd definitely go with is, I think it's called No Escape, and I forget, is it one of the Wilsons? Luke Wilson and them lot. What's the bloke who does the advert for the sofas? I can't remember which one he is now. Owen Wilson. That's it. Basically, it's a film called No Escape, and what it is, he's traveling from America to Asia. I can't remember if it's an actual country or just some generic country, and he's going there. There's an oil company that he works for, and he's been taken over there to help with the oil rig. So he takes his family to Asia, and when they get there, there's a coup, and he goes to get a newspaper, and as he's getting a newspaper, all the locals start fighting the cops, and it all kicks off, and they have to try. Has
that got Pierce Brosnan in?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
I've seen that. It's a good film.
Yeah, I watched it a few times. It's so good, and like no one talks about that film, and it's fantastic. Second one is going to be one that's not a hidden gem, but Steve will know what it's going to be because it's like my favourite film of the last 10 years, and I fucking love this movie. And people slice it, and it really pisses me off. But it's going to be Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. Is it the Ultimate Edition? I think it's called. Was that what was it called, Steve?
Yeah, it's Ultimate Edition, isn't it? The Ultimate Edition is the director's cut, isn't it? The 8 hours long one.
Zack Snyder. You've got to watch the 3-hour cut, because if you watch the cinematic cut, as much as I watched it at the cinema and thought it was like the best film I'd ever seen in my life, which is weird because I don't even know comics, but I was just fucking blown away when I felt. The cinematic one's crap because most of the film's missing. They've chopped too much out of it. Whereas if you watch the 3-hour one, you get the complete story, and it's just an absolute masterpiece of a film. No one would agree with me, but yeah, whatever. Go on.
But my three would be first one would be a film called Rounders, which is got. Have you got one more to pick?
Yeah, just got one more.
Oh, on, sorry, you go next. I've given away my first.
You were leading in, so I thought you were going to comment or something. So.
No, sorry, mate. Sorry.
Yeah, the last one would just be The Foreigner, which is Pierce Brosnan and Jackie Chan.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. Yeah. So basically, for anyone that doesn't know, Jackie Chan's kid gets killed, and Pierce Brosnan is sort of like, what's the name gone out of my head? Sinn Féin, like, what's his name? Oh, leader of Sinn Féin from the 80s, used to dub his voice.
Oh, Jesus.
Jerry Adams.
Jerry Adams, that's it. Yeah, he's like a Jerry Adams character, basically. And it's all about, like, it's supposed to be Jackie Chan taking revenge, but it's really more about the Irish situation. Fucking phenomenal film, and I've watched it a few times now. Really, really good. Yeah.
Pierce Brosnan's having a little bit of a renaissance, really, isn't he, at the moment? In fact, I think the films he's in now are better than any Bond film he's been in, because I'm not a massive Bond fan anyway.
Oh, can I ask you a question, Mike? Because I never watched the Pierce Brosnan films when they came out. I only got into Bond properly when Daniel Craig came in. And I watched the Pierce Brosnan films, and I watched the Living Daylights. Who was that? I forgot his name.
Timothy Dalton.
Yeah, I watched the 2 Dalton films. I thought the Dalton films were crap, but I watched the Brosnan films, and I absolutely loved them, except for Tomorrow Never Dies, which I thought was bollocks. But it's gotten better more. Watched it. So I've read online that everyone sort of loves GoldenEye and thinks the other 3 are complete shite. And yet, to me, World Is Not Enough is the best one of all four. So I'm a bit confused.
Things with GoldenEye, there was a good gap of like 4 years, I think, between License. It was actually longer between License to Kill and GoldenEye. And GoldenEye was massive blockbuster, got everybody hyped for it. Went to the cinema, even if it was a substandard film. I think people loved it because Bond is back. I think like in hindsight, looking back on it, it's not one of the better films, but at the time, you know, I would definitely put that in my top 5. But then if I was to be fair and watch it back, I don't think it'd be close to top 10 even. So
the only problem was on the actual film I thought was really decent, but they're still. It was like they were trying to do a Daniel Craig and be serious, but they still got to have the dumb comedy, like with the bloke in the back in the phone box and stuff. And it's like, why you got to do that? And yet it's like Die Another Day is he's like old school Don Bond with invisible cars and shit, which I thought was so good. I absolutely love that. And the bloke with diamonds on his face, absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
What I'm going to say with the Bond films is you have to appreciate they were definitely each generation was a film of its generation. Like, it's really hard to like them all. Like, I probably would more sway towards the Daniel Craig action ones than probably like your Sean Connery, which were a little bit more, I don't want to say cheesy, but of their generation. They're all of their generation. Like even the 90s ones I look at those Bond films and he looks like too much of a clean cut character as Pierce Brosnan portrays him, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Whereas I think Daniel Craig has definitely brought that edginess to the Bond character, and I'm not even a Bond fan. I just feel that way.
So obviously we've got No Time to Die is eventually going to come out, which looks incredible. Who do you think is going to be the next Bond, or who would you like to be Bond?
I'm not too sure. What's the name of that guy who had the coronavirus, who they said was gonna
the black guy, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't think of his
name. Idris Elba.
Idris Elba, that's it. Yeah. I think he may be a little bit too old to play Bond. I think he's my main thing. Because I have no objection to him being a black actor playing Bond, because Bond isn't meant to be a character. It's almost it's an alias, isn't it? That's what Bond is. It's for that agent's fucking identification to keep him under that fucking wrap. It doesn't matter who plays him. But I think personally, especially when I don't want to say it's because he had the coronavirus, but when he done that, like, you know, sat at home fucking true, this is me, I looked at him and I didn't see the guy who I'd seen acting in films before. I saw an old fucking guy, and I was thinking, you're going to replace Daniel Craig as fucking Bond. I don't see it, if you know what I mean. But maybe. So in that case, why doesn't Daniel Craig just carry on? To me, I always think when you put a new Bond in, you have to refresh him and make him a younger Bond, because what you got to think is when normally you play Bond, is there only one guy who's done one film? I can't think of what his name is.
George Lazenby.
George Lazenby. Yeah.
Normally, when you sign up to Bond, you're probably signing up to 4 films over about 10, 12 years. Can you see Idris Elba playing fucking Bond in 12 years' time? I can't.
No.
And that's what I think. And I almost think maybe they give him.
Sorry, mate. Go on.
I think if they gave it him, it would not be because of his quality acting. It would almost be to appear a modern PC world.
PC. Yeah.
Like they've done exactly the same with fucking Doctor Who by making a woman Doctor Who. You know,
I don't agree with that though. I think there's no with the Doctor, you can't use that, because the Doctor, like James Bond, when it was written, the character was not assigned any race, so you can just do what you want as long as he's a bloke and not a woman. Because it's James, not Jane. That's fine. Right? If you're going to do a woman, just do their own films. There's plenty of really good films that are female spy films that have come out in the last couple of years. In fact, there was one called Anna that came out not long ago from Luc Besson, which was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Red Sparrow with Jennifer, what's her name? Jennifer Lawrence. So that's not a problem. I think with the Doctor, it's an alien with 2 hearts who regenerates. So it can be a man, a woman, or an animal. It don't really make any difference. And this one's crap anyway. So.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I think they gave her that role just purely for a PC role, not because
it
was probably.
And they made all the episodes PC as well, didn't they? They made all the episodes about sort of like women's rights and sort of like race and things like that. And it's like, okay, granted, you know, I think as a as a nation, as a human race, we need to rein the whole racism thing. I think racism is probably kept alive because we always talk about it now. You know, whether it's like for the right reasons or not. I think if we just shut off and shut up about race and like women's rights and things like that, I think it would just become a bit more socially accepted because it's not being highlighted as that. Because I think most of those episodes of Doctor Who were trying too hard to make a point, and that point was bring everybody back into the PC world. I didn't like that. That kind of for me, I just shut off. I just shut off and don't really, you know, it's like no, I've lost my train of thought. But
it's all right, 'cause I'm still waiting to say my fucking 3 films. Anyway, I know I'm just the host, but
Can I just say one thing?
Go on.
I just going to say, I think the majority of people, normal working class people, I don't want to bring class into it, but the majority of working class people don't see skin color, gender, sexuality as an issue. It's 2020. We don't give a toss. Oh, when Phil Schofield comes out as gay, people go, and so what? You know, it's not a big deal. He thought it was going to be a big deal, but everyone went, who gives a shit, Phil? So I think the problem is you've got all these lefties, and I hate to get political, but you've got all this lefty agenda bullshit and like far left psychopathic. We have to tell everybody out what we believe in, and they're pushing the agenda in the media, and that's the problem because they're all working there. They're doing this, and you get like Doctor Who, where they're talking about plastic and how we're destroying the world, and I'm like, fuck that, give me a darling. You know, it's like.
I think, like as you say, like if we wasn't having it forced down our throats, the average person wouldn't give a shit. But the trouble is it's like, and I think it's a human nature thing. If certain people, if you're told a certain way to fucking think and believe, you will rebel and do the exact opposite fucking anyway. Because it's like them fucking idiots in America who are told to stay at home, so them going fucking protesting out in the fucking street. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's America. That's a whole civil war and antitrust of government. People can talk about it. It's difficult because it's not like us. We don't have a Bill of Rights or we don't have the Constitution. We have a Constitution. It's just not written. So there's a lot of people in America who believe that the government shouldn't have such a big role. They should be smaller and shouldn't be taking control. So I can understand why they're fighting against it, but they're fucking idiots because they'll die.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure the first guy who started the major walkouts has passed away of the coronavirus. So if that's not fucking ringing the bells to anyone, it certainly should be. But anyway, my 3 fucking films.
Go on,
Rounders. Matt Damon with John Malkovich. It's about playing poker and he gets in debt. It's pretty classic, but I remember that as a film that me and my mates, because we used to play poker at the casino, we used to fucking watch that film. We used to quote lines from that film. John Malkovich plays like a fucking dodgy Russian, like backstreet fucking where they go to try and win poker games. He plays a brilliant part, man. I just remember what it is Matt Damon could tell what people's tell was at poker, and fucking John Malkovich's was something to do with Oreos and how he ate an Oreo or something. If he ate it a certain way, it meant he got a fucking good hand. Second one, it's not like fucking, you know, it's not a hidden gem. In fact, it probably was 10, 15 years ago, but it seems to have been brought to the surface more in modern times. And Steve probably knows what I'm going to put up, and it's They Live. You know,
mate, that's a great film.
15, 20 years ago, no one knew what this film was. I remember this when I was saying to Steve when he was on the stream from renting it on VHS and watching with my brother purely for Rowdy Roddy Piper. And I remember when I started buying VHSs when they were going really cheap at the end of HMV's life of doing VHSs. This is one of the first ones I picked up and watched. But it's almost become, because the way society's gone, it's almost become like a fucking fucking cult classic of his own. And I'd say that would be only the last 15, 20 years. But it's a fucking brilliant film. And it's almost like John Carpenter could see into the fucking future when he made this film.
Classic.
I'm trying to think what my third one. Oh, my third one is because someone mentioned Ray Liotta in the comments, and it made me remember this film that I really enjoy. It's called Identity. And basically, you see at the beginning, there's 12 people. They all get stuck at this motel, and they're getting killed one by one. But when you get to the end of the film, you find that they were all actually inside this criminal's head, and the psychiatrist was trying to get them to kill. One of the personalities was a killer. The other 11 were normal people, and the psychiatrist was trying to say, if we can get the the one that's the killer to die, and all the others survive, or at least one of the others survives, it will have cured this psychopathic killer. And there's a twist at the end, and it's really fucking good. And there's a rhyme in it, something to do with a man walking down the stairs. But it's a really good film. If you've never seen it, it was one of them. I think in the early 20s, there was a load of like films all thrown out together, like suspense with tricks and turns and that in. And for some reason, it got lost in the shuffle. And again, it's one of the few films that when I talk to a lot of people, they've not seen. But it's called Identity. And if you like something with a little bit of a psychological twist and a little bit of horror, Steve, it's definitely worth a look up. I have got one more question. It was from Raz ages ago. I'm not going to look for it miles ago. But he asked, what are you both currently watching, like on a TV series, HBO or Netflix, etc.? Are either of you watching anything?
That's easy. Little Fires Everywhere. Best show ever.
Just want to tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, amazing. Have you watched it yet?
No.
Give us a little bit of an overview then, Pete, of what's that about, because I've not heard of it either.
It's a bit complex. It's only 8 episodes and all. It's not. You can't get it in this country. You know what I mean? Well, you might be able to.
It's illegal manners of getting video footage. Let's talk to Gashead.
Speak to me, Pete.
Exactly. Yeah. I got all the Steve's DVDs. Yeah. So basically, it's Reese Witherspoon and Kerry Washington. It starts the first episode. You see Reese Witherspoon standing in front of a burning house, and then it goes back to the 90s. And Kerry Washington plays a character who's an artist, and she comes into this little town called Shaker with a daughter. And Reese Witherspoon's. You ever watch Big Little Lies?
Yeah. That's with Nicole Kidman, is it?
Yeah. So Reese is the same sort of character with her. She's a bit of a bitch, and she's like an absolute psychopath with a family, and she wants everything done a certain way. And it's basically about the. It's really hard to explain it, but it's about Kerry Washington's character. She rents a house from Reese Witherspoon, and there's something iffy about her past that Reese Witherspoon's not sure about what's going on. But you've also got Reese Witherspoon's family, where she's got 2 sons, 1 older, 1 younger, and 2 daughters. And there's a whole dynamic with the family and all that. But you have to watch it really, because otherwise you end up spoiling the show. I'm not very good at synopsis, but brilliant show anyway. Kept me on the edge of my seat.
So that's only available. I'm guessing you're watching it from some sort of streaming service on fucking the old internet.
The old torrents, yeah.
Yeah. Look, man, we're not telling people to go. We're not telling people to go and do it. But if you need to, that's how you would do it.
Yeah, I wouldn't endorse it. Yeah.
This was not promoted by Dainster's Stream. You do what you please. How about you then, Gashead? What you've been watching?
Unfortunately, I'm a little bit generic with the first one. I'm still watching The Walking Dead.
You've gone on that.
Even though it's completely gone off the boil now. I'm
going to throw this out there, Gashead, while you're talking Walking Dead. The moment they introduced Negan's character, that series went down the pan for me.
He's one of the best actors in the world.
That was the best season.
No, man.
Oh, no. The Farm was the best season, but that was a really good season.
What I will say is the moment he came in, it almost became. It wasn't a zombie program anymore. They were fighting amongst themselves, and I tuned into Walking Dead to watch a survival zombie fucking series, and that's the way I felt.
I was going to grab a drink while you two were chatting about that, because I don't know shit about Walking Dead.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Get yourself a beer. But that,
yeah, I see your point, mate. I see your point, but it was always about the characters, but the zombies were the main antagonists, weren't they? They were the main sort of like threat. And then you've got your Negans, and you've got whatever it is now, like fucking things with the skins over their heads. So I wasn't invested in that really. And I think Negan's just turned into a bit of a pussy as well. So he's kind of like gone off the boil a little bit as well. So yeah, no, it's definitely losing its way. Unfortunately, or it's lost its way, and now it's like I just need that one really bad episode for me to. That's it. Knock on the head. The second one I'm watching is Westworld, which don't ask me to explain it, but that.
Do you remember the original film, Gashead?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Because you know how I used to say my dad had like that. At our mum and dad's house, you still got like you had the kitchen and there's what we used to call the little room, which it wasn't a pantry, but it also wasn't big enough to be classed a room. And he used to have in there like the chest fridge freezer. But what he'd done is he took the old kitchen units out and he put them all around the top, and they were full of VHS. And I always remember the fucking first cupboard on the left. When I opened that, the very first VHS I used to see was the yellow cover, the original Westworld. And I never got around to watching that because I didn't think I'd be interested in it. And now, obviously, with the new series coming out, I watched the original first series that came out. I was thinking, fuck me, I wish I'd watched that. Because I just thought it was like a cowboy film. Because if you look at the cover, it's just a picture
like
between someone's
robots,
legs
science fiction
with like stirrups on. I just thought, oh, this isn't my. This looks like one of Grandad's fucking Western films here. I'm not fucking watching that. So, but I missed out then. I wish I had have watched, and I wish I'd watched it on VHS.
Yeah, I watched it back in the day. I was fucking on a dodgy copy. Like this must have been, I don't know, very early 80s.
I'm going to throw it out there because isn't it Michael Crichton who wrote Westworld, who wrote Jurassic Park? He wrote Michael Crichton, who wrote Jurassic Park, wrote the film Westworld, the book Westworld. And you know,
diverse, isn't it? Fucking hell.
Well, no, because if you draw it down to its main fucking antagonist, he creates a theme park that people go and visit, and then they run them. The things that's the main attraction run amok. It's the exact same two fucking films, just with two completely different concepts. But it's Michael Crichton. I did used to have a copy of Jurassic Park, but I've not got one of Westworld. But and if you strip it down to its bare bones, it's the exact same story where we create a theme park. Obviously, the one's about dinosaurs that we should never have brought back to life, and the other one's about robots or androids that we should never have created. And it comes back and bites fucking the creators on their arse, as we know.
Every new idea is just 20% a new idea off an old one.
There are no more new ideas. That's my theory.
No, they're just recycled.
Are you going to watch the new Walking Dead when it starts, though? World Beyond.
Yeah. No, it's literally. I've not really got into anything else. Like you said, what was it called?
Little Fires Everywhere.
Right. So I'm going to watch that later on. But
really, really good.
Yeah, no, I'm still sadly invested in it, but I just know it's lost its way completely.
Some of my favourite shows are coming to an end, like Hawaii Five-0 just ended, and I was really pissed off over that.
Yeah,
love that show.
I didn't even know there was a sequel to Westworld.
The Future World is absolutely abysmal. He's absolutely right.
Is your brother in
shocking film?
Sorry, mate.
Or someone else?
I didn't hear what you said. Sorry.
Sorry, I was going to say, who's in Future World? Is Yul Brynner in that one, or is he just in Westworld?
Yeah.
So I'm just reading the comments. Sorry. Yeah. What am I watching at the moment? I'm watching a lot of shit fucking movies. You want water or is that vodka?
Yeah, that's water.
Vodka. What's it called? I've been watching a lot of like the stuff on Amazon Prime, and I watched a film that Rob Gernaldino recommended to me called Heidi. Rob, it wasn't that scary. It was a little bit shit, if I'm honest. Not shit. It's a little bit spooky, but it wasn't nothing like I wasn't expecting. You know what I mean? I almost saw the scares coming, and I saw the way the film was heading. To be honest, but
tell you what I watched last night: Fantasy Islands.
I was just going to mention that's really reached in my mind. Then I've been trying to get that in the last 5 minutes. That's what it is.
It's got absolutely slated across the board. Like it's good. This is it. So there's a film that springs to mind called 13 Ghosts, which I absolutely love, but it's like got fucking half a star on Rotten Tomatoes and shit like that. Fantasy Island got slated. I watched it last night. Really, really enjoyed it. I see why it got slated.
Yeah,
but really, really enjoyed it. Really
I was going to ask you, Steve, what was that film that we watched a few weeks back, where they got a load of people and they release them in a field and there's a pig in a box and they're shooting them.
Hunt.
That was it. The Hunt.
Don't say anything else. Watch The Hunt.
Watch The Hunt. Yeah, it's great.
It's fucking brilliant.
What's it on? Do I need to find some sort of streaming service to watch it, or is it?
Probably,
yeah. Or you can pay 20 quid to stream because it literally only just come out of the cinema. So pay your 20 quid, Dana.
Yeah. 100% will.
Well, I know you will. Don't say anything else because that literally Integos told me that, and I went to the cinema with my missus, and we sat there. We just didn't know what to expect. And the first scene when they're on the plane, it was like, what's going on here? Brilliant, Dana, brilliant, and everybody else, The Hunt, excellent.
And also as well, if you've got the chance, watch The Invisible Man, because that is like the best one I've seen in the last few weeks. It's incredible.
Another brilliant film. Yeah, and again, that's available on all
is it on Amazon? I'm not sure.
Sites. It is,
I think a lot of them are available on Amazon Prime. Because what they've done is, because obviously no one can go to the cinema, they've chucked them out on these platforms quite early, haven't they, for people?
Yeah, that's what the twist of the
but it's like Bloodshot as well, Pete.
What's that?
Bloodshot, and Diesel.
God, that was terrible, mate. That was so bad. Honestly, I thought that was going to be my kind of film. I was looking forward to it, and it was shit. The first 10 minutes when he's doing the combat at the beginning, brilliant. Once he becomes a super soldier, I just got bored to tears then.
Can we all just take a moment to applaud Darth Steve with the most predictable fucking joke of this evening, The Invisible Man? Not seen him. Get your coat. Shut the door behind you.
Also, just out of interest, does anybody watch Bosch on Amazon?
Is that about drills?
It's a cop show with Titus Welliver. It's absolutely best. Bosch is the best TV show out there if you want to watch something really good.
I tell you what's just popped up on Netflix, and I've got the box sets actually. Ashes to Ashes and Life on Mars.
Oh,
I loved both those series, man. Really did.
Life on Mars was really good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed
this worth for watch as well. They're bringing out a season 3. Did I read that somewhere?
What's that?
They're doing a season 3. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure I saw it in the Sun newspaper. Okay, my bad, but it's definitely on the cards. So yeah,
I think that's a brilliant concept for a series, and I imagine if they're going to do another one, it's going to be in the 90s, in it. I imagine, because was it 70s and 80s they did last time?
Do you know what it did say? But I just can't remember. It was only a little article, but Keeley Howes is signed up to it, and so is what's his name, the master. What's his name?
Yeah, what's his name? Yeah, that's a good point. Shit, Martin something. I think is it? Oh, I can't remember what his name is.
Raz says he's watched that Bosch.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I've just watched season 6. It's absolutely brilliant.
To be honest, though, Raz recommending me anything, he's not fucking really selling it to me, to be honest.
Well, just trust me, Dana, that's a great show, even though there are 6 seasons.
Okay. To be honest, I get fatigued with a lot of seasons when they go on for too long. I almost think 4 seasons, 5 seasons is when something peaks and it should probably end. Because I
got 10 and it was amazing. So.
Which was that? What was that one?
Hawaii 5-0. So,
but Hawaii 5-0 is different. Yeah. I imagine I've not watched Hawaii 5-0, but is that almost one where each episode is its own episode and there's a small backstory behind? Yeah, they last forever, but I'm talking something like Lost or something like The Walking Dead. Yeah. The Walking Dead, where they drag on a little bit too long, and you're thinking you probably could have wrapped this up a much better 2 seasons ago, sort of thing. Yeah. I get fatigued with them.
Lost. Sorry, go on. I was going to say with Lost, they I think we went back to the 70s, and they brought in Ben, and it all went a bit weird. Yeah. That's when Lost sort of lost its way, really.
Yeah, I think maybe a writer came in and said, "Right, this is a great idea. Let's take it in a new direction." It lost everything that went before. I think we lost.
Yeah, I didn't know. My dad always goes on about the ending. He was it was lazy because it was is that all you're going to come up with? They're just dead. And I was like, well, it was obvious that they were going to do that. It's what about the bloody the smoke and the polar bear? And I'm like, it's all bollocks. It's in the mind.
That did really disappoint me. Like a lot of people, I woke up at 2:00 in the morning to watch that, and it was like fucking Bobby Ewing walking out of the shower. Do you know what I mean? It was really.
The ending to Lost. The ending to Lost is pretty similar to the fucking ending to Ashes and Life on Mars. They're in some sort of purgatory before they pass over at some point. Yeah, they're limbo. But Lost seems to get filled with a lot of shit just to drag an extra season out of it, like you say, the season with the smoke and shit like that.
Yeah. Whereas with Life of Mars and Ashes to Ashes, they were short seasons, weren't they? And you would never under any illusion that he didn't know what was going on. He just rolled with it. You would never under any illusions that something was happening, something big was happening, something, and then no, he's in a coma. Do you know what I mean? So you weren't like force fed the island's magic, and this happened for that reason.
Yeah, and
so many times that. Yeah, and the problem with Lost is like they changed the storyline so many times that it just lost everybody. Ozark.
I've not watched that. That is on Netflix. That is Steve. I've seen several people recommend that in the chat before. But
I got bored in season 1. So.
See, the thing is, right, is I steer away from seasons now because, like, as I say, I've been disappointed with some, or I've got fatigued like I did with The Walking Dead. And almost now I either like to watch something like I watch Criminal Minds and I watch Law and Order. Something that, although there might be like each season has its own like long running backstory, I can watch an episode and it's a one and done sort of thing, if you know what I mean.
Have you watched all the Criminal Minds? Have you seen the end of it?
I've not seen the very last series. I like the first series with Gideon. The first couple of seasons with Gideon in. They're the best. Homeland, no.
Yeah. Oh, mate. Because Mandy Patinkin who played Gideon.
Yes.
Absolutely incredible in Homeland. And this week he just went off on a rant on this one bloke. And it's like some of the best acting I've ever seen, mate. Superb.
What I will say is, if you like Criminal Minds, have you seen Mindhunter? Which is basically how the old the organisation, oh man, I can't think what it's called now. How that is made within the FBI. It's brilliant.
Behavioural analysis.
That's it, yeah. BAU, the BAU, yeah. It's about the creation of the BAU. But
BAU and the unsubs, yeah.
And what's it called? The only other one I like to watch is Law and Order, Special Victims Unit, SVU. I like that. Yes, it is. Yeah. And there's I can't think what he plays a character called Elliot. He's in the first 7 series. He's in a few films himself, but he plays like a proper hard hitting cop man, and I like that. But I avoid stuff now where I like to watch box sets now once they're all done. So I will avoid anything on The Walking Dead till that is complete now, and I'll sit down and watch a lot. Because I don't like fucking waiting, man, and I don't like these breaks where you have to fucking wait for the next series. Yeah. I've not got that in my life anymore. I want to watch it all in one go, sort of thing.
That was Game of Thrones for me. They there's so many different storylines going on each episode that fast forward a week, you've completely forgotten what's going on, and they start with new stories, and then 3 weeks time they would come back to the story that you watched 3 weeks ago, and you're thinking what the hell's that? But I'm like you. It's like Netflix, and they do the seasons on Sky now as well, don't they? They're like lifesavers. You sit down, you watch 4 episodes, then the next day you watch another 4 episodes, and you've done the season.
I remember when I got pissed off with Lost, because when it first came out, Channel 4 got it, didn't they?
Yeah.
And it used to fit into my work schedule perfect. Like I'd get home from work on a night and I could watch it. So I used to watch it. But then after 2 series, obviously Sky caught on, hang on, this is popular, we'll pay more money, have it? They changed the fucking time, the day it was on, everything. And it almost spoilt it for me without the actual series spoiling it for me, because I was like, well, that's gone now. I used to watch that then. I want to watch that then. I don't want to wait, because whereas Channel 4 gave it not a prime spot because it was taking a chance on a fucking American series back then. Now it's a fucking banker, but back when Lost first came out, Lost is probably one of the first American series I remember watching. Yeah, big being Lost was an event when that come out, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Remember the first episode?
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Mega. I mean that was like watching a movie, wasn't it? With a budget of 20
when the camera comes there, they've got Jack looking up, and then he walks on the beach, and all the and they've got the blood gets sucked into the engine and stuff. Brilliant.
But then that, to me, Channel 4 took that gamble, but they weren't willing to put it on at fucking 8 o'clock at a peak time. I'm sure they put it on at either 9 or 10 o'clock, a little bit later.
It was 9 o'clock.
And I used to watch that when I'd got home from my work shift, whereas when Sky got it, they got it and they put it bang in a prime time, your early evening, so they got the most viewers. And I was like, you've just fucked it up now, because that was my routine. But yeah, when Lost come about, that was the first time. Like, obviously, you used to have your friends, like your sitcoms that. But even them, they were nothing compared to Lost. You know what I mean? When that come, and then I think obviously that opened the door for stuff like The Walking Dead to then come over, and people not having to take gambles on them, and they was going straight to the big channels.
What really disappoints me and things like that is when an episode or a season is given a chance and then they just cancel it, and you get really invested in it. They done that with the remake of V. Did anybody watch that?
Oh mate, that was annoying.
Yeah, really. I mean, the first season was okay. You know, it was like really it was good, and if you enjoyed V originally, then you know you liked it. Season 2 started off really slow, but with really good character building, which has really paid off for the last couple of episodes. They screened the last episode, and then they announced it was cancelled. But the last episode is probably one of the best episodes of a TV show that I've ever seen, and it was so good. Yeah. I remember talking about
Terminator as well. Remember the Sarah Connor Chronicles?
Yeah, they were good.
God, that pissed me off. That did. Yeah. Have you ever seen that, Dana?
No, I haven't. But there's a running joke in my house. If I find something good that I like to watch, like a series on Netflix, I don't check when it came out or how long it runs. So I'll just go in head first. There was a series called Backstrom. It's about a detective. One of the guys who were in the American Office, who plays like the creepy one who wears the glasses, he plays this alcoholic detective who lives with his nephew. Like, it's fucking brilliant, right? So I jump in head first. I love this. I'm watching episode after episode. And then my missus will go, "You do realise that was filmed in 2016 and they only did 2 series, so you're not going to watch it anymore." And I used to go, I was like, "Fucking hell." Yeah, like literally everything got cancelled like the year before I got into it. Because there's one with Kiefer Sutherland in where he's got a son who can do mathematical sums in his head.
I hated that show.
Did ya? I fucking love that.
I wanted to kill that.
That was fucking... I love that sort of shit. But with this Backstrom, I was fucking loving it, and I was just thinking they could have... And I almost looked at it and think, there's not a bad episode here, so why the fuck has it been cancelled? And I always put it down to, perhaps it was put against a fucking really good show. Perhaps the company who owned it, who made it, put it up against fucking Walking Dead same time or something. So it never fucking stood a chance of getting off the ground in the first place, sort of thing.
Yeah. I've been watching a lot of American shows for a lot of years, and the amount of shows I've watched where I get like 1 season, or they might get 2 seasons if you're really lucky. And it's so like there's a show that's just been on called Deputy with Stephen Dorff. Brilliant show. And they bloody cancelled it. I was like, for God's sake. And then there's another show called Emergence, which is a sci-fi show, which was getting really good, but lost the viewers halfway through because people got bored of it. And they missed the twist when the story really took off. They bloody cancelled that one as well. So, not good.
We've got one final question for tonight because we're into the last 10 minutes, man. It's flowing. For all of us, best TV series ever. I already know my answer, and so I'll go last. So, Steve, if you want to go first, best TV series ever.
So I think we've spoken about a few great ones already, but best TV series ever is quite obvious in my eyes. It's Only Fools and Horses, if you can class that as a TV series as such.
No, I'll say that. I'll go with that.
Every fucking episode.
I'm also pleased because mine's a British pick as well. So
cool. Yeah, Only Fools and Horses is not a bad episode of that show.
So, any reason why? Just because there's not a bad episode? Because I've got a backstory where I love mine.
It's funny as hell. It brings back great memories for me, like as a kid. Still watch them now, and they're still funny. And it's like it's brilliant.
Schmuck Pilot 79 says A-Team and Drop Mic. I'll agree, it's a good TV show, but mine is going to be the mic drop. I'll tell you now. But go on, Snestastic.
Mine's going to be Alias. Best show ever made. No, nothing beats that.
Any particular reason why?
Basically it's J.J. Abrams' first, as far as I know, it's his first TV thing he ever did. It's like an incredible spy story with a character called Sidney Bristow, who basically works for what she believes is an offshoot of the CIA. And it turns out it's not. They're actually a criminal organisation. And her dad actually works for them as well, and he's undercover with the CIA. So she goes undercover by turning herself in. And then there's this whole mystery about this character called Rambaldi. It was like, what's that bloke who was supposed to have predicted the future a few years back from France? Shit. Remember what his name was?
You're not talking Notre Dame, are you?
Yeah,
not not recent. I mean, I know you're old. I was going to say, Pete, I know you're knocking on a bit, but I'm sure you didn't get to school with him.
But yeah, it's like that. And basically, there's a whole, I can't spoil it in case anyone hasn't seen it, but there's a whole mystery going on. It's the most incredible show I've ever watched. And just for another one, will be 24 as well, because that's phenomenal.
Yeah, that was good.
Well, I'm going to go with mine. Right, I remember watching this originally when I was a kid with my dad. One of the things, like I've said on this stream several times, I used to stay up late because my dad used to work long hours, 7 days a week back in the 80s, because he's a plasterer like myself. He went through the recession. So the only time I used to really get to see my dad was like mom was cleaner on a night, so he used to take her to work on a night. Is I'd stay up late and either watch TV series or films with my dad. Probably films I've said before that I was way too young to watch it, but the TV series was all the same pet, and fucking series 1 and 2. I absolutely love them. And obviously I've gone on like older in life. I remember buying dad the DVD. I remember buying him the VHSs, and then I remember buying him the DVDs recently. But them series is like every 2 or 3 years, I will put them on and binge watch them. Series 1 and 2 are the best. All the same pet. Fucking just funny, hard hitting as well, man. Like, they were really dealing with serious issues of what it was like for people in the 80s who were in the building trade who got sent to work to Germany. But they, they're just brilliant. Like, and so many great actors came out of that series as well. It's just brilliant. And it's not just because I think it's a superb series. It's because that bonded me and dad, and we still fucking talk about it now. I mean, I'm sure down there in my record piles I've got the fucking Joe Fagan theme tunes that he sung for the intro and outro of that TV series. But it's just a memorable series that will always have a fond place in my heart, and probably I'm overdue watching it again, to be fair. But just brilliant, man. So much watchability of it, and to know the story where they finished the second series without the Gary Holton, who played Wayne. He obviously died halfway through because he was a rock star, and I think he took too much drugs. And that to finish the second series without him. And it's not until you realise, you notice like his scenes are cut down and you only see him from the back and stuff like that. Again, that's it. That's the mic drop, or the same pet. If you've never ever seen it, go and fucking watch it. You need to.
You say that as another one, Benidorm. I absolutely love Benidorm. That's funny as hell. But they done one episode, so I'd be really quick. But one episode where I think Mal, the old guy with glasses, tans, he died in real life. And there's one episode where they go to Benidorm, they're looking for him, they can't find him. The wife is like expecting him to come, and then right at the end of it, they announce that he's dead, or he passed away. And it's just so emotional knowing that he's passed away already. And it's like, it was such a good episode. But yeah.
There's a couple of good mentions. Raz, I assume he means the original Cell Block H.
Never watched that.
I watched that with my mom. My mom very rarely watched any TV series, but I remember used to watch that with my mom. And also Horatio here. Horatio Van Basten says Yozeg is a job. That's boys from the black stuff. About like the Scousers who were they tarmackers, and they all got laid off and they had to find other jobs or something like that. I vaguely remember that. Have you ever seen it, Steve? Boys from the Black Stuff?
No.
Oh man, that is a classic. You need to go and see that. Anyway, we are into the last 2 minutes, so I want to say a personal thank you, Steve, for helping me out, man, because I was struggling tonight, man. I massively appreciate you jumping on. Pete, I can only apologise that it was so chaotic for you when you first come on, man. Steve will verify it. This is the first stream I've had any hassle with anything. Someone's just said band of gold in the corner. I need to acknowledge that because I have a confession.
Prostitution, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I have a confession. I have never ever been to the theatre in my life up until I think it was February. My missus always pestering me to go to the theatre. And the Birmingham, I can't remember what it's called, the one in Birmingham. But they had a stage play of Band of Gold on. And I jokingly said, if I was to go to the theatre and see anything, I would go and watch this. And it was fucking brilliant, man. It was all just about the first episode. but the way they did it was brilliant. It was a musical, Steve, so it's all right. It was just pure acting. But Band of Gold, it's still doing the tours. Well, obviously it's not at the moment, but if it comes to your town after this, go and watch it. If you love that TV series about the prostitutes from Bradford, Band of Gold, it's worth seeing. Again, I'll carry on. Thank you both so much for coming on. It's been a pleasure. I'm glad we've got to talk so much about, obviously, Pete, your history of YouTube and your collecting. That was great. Talking a bit about movies and stuff as well, man. It's a nice diversity for everyone in the comments. I can see they're all fucking chirping in with stuff they used to watch, which is brilliant. What I like to do, Pete, is I end my stream with like a message from you to the people out there. So if Steve, if you want to go first, and then Pete, just a message to the people watching in the community sort of thing.
So exactly the same as the other night. Just stay safe. Obviously, keep YouTubing, keep watching YouTube. It's great to see so many new channels come out as well. I will say that. So yeah, again, thanks, Dana, for having me on. No
worries, Steve, man. You've done me a solid tonight. Thank you. And Pete, a message from you to the community. I know we all want to see you back making videos as well, so I'm throwing that out there.
Thanks. Yeah, really, I just want to thank you, everybody who supported the channel, stuck with me all this time, and continues to comment. And as far as like the world at the moment, just as Steve says, stay safe, keep your distance, and most importantly, don't listen to the media. Don't listen to anything you see on social media because it's probably bollocks.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure having you both on. I hope you both enjoyed it. I'm just going to drop you backstage while I just do my outro, and I'll be back for a chat. So again, thank you both. Guys, thank you for fucking being so patient tonight. It's been an absolute chore tonight, but the guests who I've had on have been absolutely brilliant. Like Pete has been superb, man. I hadn't spoken to Pete before until 2-3 days ago. He's come on. He's done a solid, man. If any of you know Pete, like his history, and what I can say, he's a sincere and honest bloke. Gashead, thank you for jumping on, man. Knowing I was struggling, I'm so sorry I couldn't get Lawn Boys post on. Obviously, once I go live, I can't be chatting with the guest. I need to be concentrating on you guys and the guests on. Hopefully, I can get Dave sorted and get him out on in the future. That would be great. But I've got guests actually lined up for Friday and Saturday, so we're all booked in. It'll be the same bat time, same bat channel. Take it easy, YouTube, and thank you.